This week in Moto from around the world, it's a little bit lighter of a dose. However, still incredibly spicy. The first thing I want to talk about is the MXGP of Latvia. You have Prado losing the points lead, going down in third place, Moto 1 with a 7th place finish, and then he ends up winning second Moto with a 7-1 for third overall. And Herlings ends up winning his 104th GP with a 1-3, and Tim Geiger ends up with a 2-2, and he takes over the points lead with a 4-point lead over Prado. In the 250 class, Sasha Kunin winning his first GP with a 3-1, and his brother gets second overall with a 2-3. And the leader of the series, Kaida Wolf, wins the first moto, but he ends up fourth overall because he ends up crashing 3 times in a single moto. He had an incredibly rough moto. What is even more shocking than the Bullet getting his 104th win is what he had to say to the press afterwards. No pun intended. However, this is verbatim about rider safety. What is happening is shocking. I'm aware that this is a dangerous sport. Accidents just happen in motocross, and sometimes that's just bad luck. But the organization can reduce the risks of accidents and make care better. But they don't. Making money seems more important than investing in safety. Ugh. The other day, MX2 just took off while it was thundering hard. That's life-threatening. I will say at Thunder Valley, ironically, here in America, MX Sports did delay the race because of this. I was at the Ironman and people were pissing and moaning about guys still running because there was lightning going on, which again, it is a huge safety concern. It is better to be more cautious than have something incredibly sad happen, because it's not only sad, but it's a nightmare for organizations because of insurance claims, all sorts of stuff. That's not the persona that anyone wants to give off. So for Jeffrey Herlings to be saying this kind of stuff is not good. They better step their game up, which I commend the Bullet for saying as much, because he is a voice for change. He's got enough clout that it is going to force, hopefully, the organization to change. Anyway, I digress. You won't hear me whining about hard rain, but I think it is absolutely unacceptable. This is, again, coming from a man that is in his later 20s. He is more about the longevity of not just only his body, but the sport in general. So you've got a different switch as you get older. You start to understand a little bit more. You're not so much ready to just do whatever it takes to win. Take the finish jump at the GP of Portugal. If you jump off along there, after 30 meters, you fall straight onto the concrete. That is crazy. 30 meters, you're talking 90 feet. You're going to die. That's just one of the things. I understand racing in Europe is sometimes difficult. World Supercross knows exactly because of some of their tracks. Anyway, that was kind of a joke in a kind of a dark paragraph here. So anyway, I apologize. Because of the lack of space, the organization gets a serious amount of money to organize a GP. So why not just get a better venue where you can build a safer track? And if the track is not maintained, you get deep ruts that become dangerous, and it puts less dangerous obstacles on the track. If they have better flaggers and sprinklers. There's been some stuff happen in the motocross here in America where unfortunately there's been some pedestrians that have been hit. At the mandatory press meeting at Thunder Valley, they were implementing new procedures, and they basically somewhat denied a bunch of places that used to be acceptable to be on the track to no longer being acceptable, which is a bummer. However, they're trying different things, which is what we want to see, is try it, see if it works. If it's too much, then get lenient from there. However, the goal is to prevent stuff from becoming a problem. Yes, there's been issues with rebar being used for banners. That's no longer a thing. I'm still a little bit up on how sharp the corner markers are here in a motocross, but I mean that they are plastic. However, we could potentially have something as foam. And in Paris, they had amazing tough blocks. I've never seen safer tough blocks in my life for that Supercross. And Feld, I believe, is designing something around that as well, because innovation happens when somebody delivers an exceptional product, you end up somewhat stealing it to make it your own. And I like the innovation that is going on here in America. And Herlings continues to talk about some of the cases that have happened this year at Germany with Paul Jonas and Henry Jacob, where Henry had a handful of teeth knocked out of his mouth because he had a broken jaw, and they dragged him off the track like a doormat, knocked out. I don't think that's acceptable. They should treat us with more respect because we are not dogs. And maybe that's because just you're hiring new medical staff and everyone at different areas, and sometimes you're in some sketchy places because of the country that you are in. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments below. If I move on to a little bit of the motocross, Chase Sexton losing the points lead to Hunter Lawrence from a sketchy pass that he ended up crashing on. I went over it in one of my track analysis videos. If you want that, it's going to be at the end of the video. He just rode the track too hard. Stewart said that he was just a little bit riding over his head. And yeah, he's just pushing the track. He tried to make what happened last weekend at Hangtown by going 40th to first. This time, it bit him in the butt. And you have Jett Lawrence saying that he sat down the majority of it. He was hurting his shoulder and his leg, but yet he was still able to come across with the overall win. That's got to be somewhat detrimental to his teammate Hunter, who ended up winning the first moto. So, and he's the points leader right now. There's an interesting dynamic churning in American motocross right now, which I like to see. It gives some bullet points, and it makes for some darn good racing. Over in Belgium, you had round 2 results of the Endurance World Champions for road racing, and the team there, after 8 hours of racing, was Yamaha Yamaha that came away with the win. That is exceptional to spend that much time on a motorcycle where you're all hunched over. Yes, there's other endurance sports that spend more time. However, this is a pretty cool event. I wish that there was some more news about these guys here. It's just not as exciting, but then again, we watch NASCAR with guys go round and round and round, and it's incredibly popular. The Indy 500 a few weeks ago, that was actually a really good race, but they're in different types of cars. And to finish this off, we'll talk about this weekend. Round 4 for the Women's National Championships for motocross is going to be at the National High Point Raceway over there in Pennsylvania. Be interesting to see who wins that as well, and I will cover that later on next week. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe and like button and notification icon. Till next time, keep it WFO. Ba-ra-da-da-da-da-da.